Globally, more than 1 million children have lost a parent to COVID-19. That's according to a recent study, and the number is growing. In Indonesia, where the coronavirus death toll is particularly high, social workers are calling for more support for the newly orphaned children in desperate need of care.
What he misses most are the simple things, like going for a walk with his dad. 12-year-old Denas lost both of his parents in the pandemic. Today, his uncle joins him to pay tribute at the family grave. Life has changed radically for the boy from Tangerang, on the outskirts of Jakarta. He now lives with his older brother in their parents' home. Mohammed is 19 and does what he can to hold on to some form of normality.
You'll know what it feels like to be a parent. That was their last message. After saying that, a few hours later, my parents died.
The number of orphaned children in Indonesia is still rising, even as the pandemic in parts of the country slows down. The organization Save the Children Indonesia estimates that more than 18,000 children have been orphaned by COVID-19, losing either one or both parents. When the boys were vaccinated last month, the police in Tangerang learned about their recent loss. The police chief was especially moved and has since personally given the boys financial aid. The father of 6 has even offered to become a foster parent.
Kami kepolisian secara profesi, tapi kami manusia.
I'm a police officer by profession, but I'm also a human being with a heart that is touched. I can't just stand by and watch because I share the same destiny. When my parents died, I'd entered junior high school like Denas. Foster parents took care of me so that I could go to high school and become a police officer. Now it's my turn to give back.
Kami akan berikan lagi kepada orang lain. Jadi menjadi berkat bagi orang lain.
The adoption process is still ongoing, and Denas hasn't made a final decision where to live. But the boys are grateful for the support that is not tied up in red tape. Without state benefits, children in poorer areas are often sent to orphanages, as families don't have the financial muscle to care for them.
The problems these children face, however, go beyond material issues. Mental health plays a big role. And then there are legal challenges. Some relatives also put money into their own pocket.
To stop thousands of children from slipping into poverty, abuse, and neglect, it will take the joint effort of community members, healthcare professionals, and relatives. Mohammed is ready to do his part, too, to help his brother cope with the grief and to make sure that he one day gets into university.
For more, I'm joined by Georg Matters, DW Asia Pacific Bureau Chief in Jakarta. Georg, nearly 20,000 children have lost a parent in Indonesia. Many, like Mohammed, as we just saw in that report, have lost both parents. What is likely to happen to them?
Rebecca, the pandemic here in Indonesia, like in most parts of the world, really exacerbates existing inequalities. And so obviously a lot of the aim of many NGOs here is try to help facilitate that children are taken care of by the closest relatives. But if that doesn't work, they're brought into orphanages. And these orphanages are struggling with the amount of children arriving. And so that is a big problem. Another problem is that the state needs to start counting actually the number of cases. There's no exact number how many children have lost a parent or have, in fact, like in the case we've just seen, lost both parents. So it's a really difficult situation for children here. Many say here it's a lost generation.
Well, how much government support are they getting? In that report, we saw that Mohammed was helped by the local city police chief. Is that common across the board? Is there much government support, or is it largely being left to the community?
The government has pledged that they want to do more, that they want to improve counting these cases. Basically, they have seen that this is a big problem, so they're putting money, at least they're saying they will put more money into helping these people. But obviously, in Indonesia, family is very important, so people do help each other. But if you are economically not able to do that, of course, then this makes things really difficult. And it even makes things difficult for single parents who often simply can't afford to keep all the children, provide food for them. And that is even a point when they have to turn to the state for more help.
What's the COVID situation there now? We know that the recent really huge surge in numbers is declining, but are we likely to see more orphans from the pandemic?
Unfortunately, one has to fear that that is the case. Here in Java, but also in Bali, for instance, the numbers have dramatically dropped back from the peak we've seen in July, when the positivity rate was 50%, so every second person that tested positive for COVID. Now, on the other islands, and we're looking at 17,000 islands in Indonesia, even the larger ones, it is still unclear how strong the pandemic is going. What remains clear is that on these islands, the health system remains under severe stress, and that is why the government has decided to extend the lockdown for another 2 weeks.
All right, Georg, thank you very much. Georg Matters in Jakarta for us.